Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How are you? I'm just going to hide that so you can see me here. Yes, this is Coffee with Kevin. And and we're in a different place today. Yeah, we are. We are I'm in my car. And as you can tell, I'm still Tampa serious. I've got my Caribbean shirt on and everything else. Good day, everyone. This is the 1st of July. Oh my goodness. We're in the seventh month of 2025. It's incredible how this year is just moving on to exceptional things. It's incredible. 4th of July is coming up on Friday. It's going to be a wonderful time. I actually got a chance to see some fireworks on Saturday night with my family, my wife, my lovely wife Brenda, and my son Tony and his two children, Caleb and Noah. It was it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. You know, today in history, oh goodness gracious, I was looking through it and there wasn't really much to talk about today in history. It was and that's a good thing. And that's a good thing when not there's usually some great things and there's usually some bad things, and it wasn't a lot of much, which is really cool. Which is really cool. But today is National um, Ice Cream in Many Flavors Day. Ice Cream in Many Flavors Day is it's pretty cool. But when you think about it, I think they said there's 725 ice cream manufacturers in the country. And so, what would happen if you were to have a unique ice cream for every single one of those? You'd have unique, you'd have unique flavors like raspberry, jalapeno, avocado, all sorts of really interesting stuff. I've had ginger ice cream, which is pretty cool. I was at a place that every single dish appetizers, main dishes, and desserts. They all had ginger in them. It was really cool. I think it's great. You might be grossed out by some of the flavors you see out there, but sometimes when we hear something, we tend to give it a judgment right away, and you never know until you taste it. And I like doing that because it's a variety. You change. Now I've gone through and I've tried a lot of different foods around the country when I was traveling, and a lot of them are great. Not all of them. Some of them I didn't care for. Some of them grossed me out. But I wouldn't have known it until I tried it. I wouldn't have known it until I've tried it. For instance, squab. Squab is a Chinese dish, and squab basically is pigeon, and it sounds gross, but it's not your pigeon outside picking on the garbage or anything else. No, these are farm grown chickens and not chickens, but farm grown pigeons. So there are, it was good. I gotta say, it tastes a little like chicken. So there's a lot of different things, and when you're trying something new, it's a change, and change is good for us. Change is growth in some way or shape or another. So it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. I got some looked like I had some chats. Not yet. Not yet. So if you're on, say hi. Say hi. Tell me about the things that you've done that you didn't regret or did regret, but it was something new. It was something new you were trying. Tell me about those things. I'd love to hear. So today we're not talking about that. By the way, it's Coffee with Kevin today. You can see the coffee in the background. I meant to have fireworks background. I'll have them next week, hopefully. Um, You can see the coffee in the background, and it's Coffee with Kevin. I'm Kevin. And today, unfortunately, I don't have a coffee, and I don't expect everybody to have a coffee with them when they're watching this, whether it's a coffee, a hot tea, maybe even a nice coffee or water like I have today. Sharing and toasting a drink to you, to us, to change. Today, today I'm going to talk about starting up with small things because too many times we have these things in front of us, these tasks or projects in front of us, they're much too large, and we get overwhelmed. We get overwhelmed and delay them. We delay them for a period of time. And what happens is we end up sometimes not doing them, or we end up doing them too late, and we don't do them as well as we could have, or it just doesn't work out. So when you have something large in front of you, you want to be able to start it out. Period. That's the most important thing is start it out. Sometimes it's so overwhelming, it's so too big. We don't know where to start, and we need to find a place to start. And you can start somewhere simple, somewhere small. And that's what I always say is at least starting in somewhere small. I used to tell the story about this man who had a garage which couldn't fit his car because he had so many things in it. They were just all over the place, and it needed to be reorganized for a couple of years, and he just hadn't gotten to it. And then someone mentioned, you don't have to worry about doing the whole thing. You start at a little place. You start in the corner. Just start in the corner, clear a corner, and start to reorganize that corner. Take a half an hour or an hour to just start. Now, the whole thing is going to take him, many hours, and he knew that. He was thinking days, if not weeks, a few hours every day. But he wasn't starting because it was so overwhelming. So he went to the corner. He cleared the corner. He pushed things away, and then he started setting things up in piles in a more organized way. And he got the corner done in less than an hour. He looked at it and he was very, very happy. And then he said to himself, okay, I got a little bit more time, maybe another hour to spend. Where do I want to go next? And he went to the side of that and he cleared everything out. And before he knew it, he had a small but a decent part of his garage started in a couple hours. And he was really happy. And he knew he was going to spend another hour or so later in the day and then another couple hours tomorrow on it. He and before he knew it, in a week or so later, without working so hard, without getting overwhelmed, he had it all done. He had it all done. He had put this off for a couple of years. So when we start small, it's at least starting. That's an important part. So you start small. It's at least starting. That's the biggest part. But don't worry about the big things. You worry about where you're going to start and just take it chunks at a time. We have this concept in NLP, neuro linguistic program. It's called chunking, and you can chunk up and you can chunk down. All right, chunking down means to take the biggest part and find a smaller part and a smaller part. Okay, it has to do with language. It has to do with concepts and ideas, but it's the same thing when you have a big project. Chunk it down to the the smallest part that you can start. There's this saying. This is how do you eat an elephant? Because an elephant's huge and it's overwhelming. One bite at a time. One bite at a time. That's how you eat an elephant. So Yeah, we're talking about starting. Now, as a project manager, I used to start with, okay, we have this big project, and we look at the project, and it may take a month, 6 months. Sometimes some of the projects took 2 years, but there had to be a starting point. You look at a 2-year project and it's overwhelming. What are you going to do? Where are you going to go with it? There has to be a starting point, and you get that starting point, and it's usually a kickoff meeting. It's usually the starting point as a project manager is starting the plan. And it's not even starting the project; it's starting the plan. And starting the plan says, okay, what's going to be the first thing we're going to do in the plan? And usually that's kind of a kickoff meeting. And then so the first thing I do is plan the date for the kickoff meeting. Okay, and then I plan the date for what we're going to do as a follow up and the follow up and the adjustments that I'm going to go to the plan from the kickoff meeting and all sorts of things like that. But I took this 2-year project and I shrunk it down to small, small parts and found the beginning, found the start. And then the actual start of the project was that kickoff meeting, maybe a 2-hour meeting with a bunch of people that are all involved in the project. So you look at something large and you get overwhelmed, but then you say, okay, where can I start? What are the pieces? Well, how am I going to break this up? How am I going to break this up? The important part is starting. That's the important part. Let's see if here I can show you some menu. I'm trying to get where I usually get for our quotes. Our quotes. Here we go. Do not wait. The time will never be just right. Start where you stand. Do not wait. The time will never be just right. Start where you stand. I am supposedly showing this. There it is. Start where you stand. It means start it now. And if starting is just the planning, go ahead. And if you're planning in your head, at least write something down. That's a very important thing. It's to write something down what you're going to start on. Great things are not done by impulse, but by a series of small things brought together. Vincent van Gogh. Great things are not done by impulse, but a series of small things brought together. And so, if you have a great thing, if you have an idea that you want to start, you want to create something, or you want a business you want to start, find out where you start. What's the first thing you got to do? Maybe it's some research. Start it. Say, okay, I got to research this, this, and this. Which one are you going to start first? And then start it right away. You don't have to see the whole staircase. Just take one, just take the first step. Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King had a big staircase in front of him when he thought, I need to change and create civil rights. It was a big project, many years. Start with the first step. You got a big staircase, so don't worry about the stairs. Start with the first step. Start where you are. Use what you have. Do what you can. Start where you are. Use what you have. Do what you can. Arthur Ashe, okay, great tennis player. I like this one because it says start where you are, and it's almost like let's start right now. Use what you have. Don't wait until you have to have all the resources. Use what you have to start and do what you can. Don't wait until you have all the resources again. Just get started. All right, the last one. The man who moves a mountain begins by carrying away small stones. That's Confucius. The man who moves a mountain starts by carrying away small stones. So you don't move a mountain all at once. You move a mountain little by little, stone by stone, stone by stone. I was dropping off someone that was working on a scrap yard the other day. And as I drive up, I'm looking at this mountain or mountains of scrap, big metals, mass crushed cars, and everything else. And I said, "Oh my goodness, what if they needed to move that? What if they needed to break it down?" And I thought they'd probably use a crane and start taking off piece by piece, piece by piece. You couldn't push it with a bulldozer, even if the bulldozer was strong enough, because the stuff's going to fall down. You have to find out where you're going to start in something like that. So yes, moving a mountain is piece by piece, stone by stone. The thing is, it's the mountains that bother us. They look so large, we never think we're going to get through them, get around them. They look so big. How are we going to move them? But then we break it up and we say, okay, where are we going to start? Just start. And that's the things to do. Okay. Oh, good morning, Brent. Bet you didn't even know I was going to be on. I came on a couple minutes late and you got on. Thank you very much for being here. I love it. If you're listening to this later in the day or later this week, please comment on this. Tell me what you've had to accomplish that you thought was so large to begin with and you did accomplish it. Let me know. Let me know how you started. And did you start small? And did you finally just say to yourself, I just got to start? Okay, until next week, you have yourself an incredible week. And you know that it has nothing to do with me wishing it for you. It has everything to do with you making it an incredible week for you. Take care, all. Bye bye.